Hi everybody, warm welcome to all of you to Tea at the Ritz. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm delighted to be with you and have your company. I've called today's video How to Look 10 Years Younger, which is the same title that I used for my blog post on Sunday. So have you all come to watch this, hoping that you're going to get lots and lots of hints and tips about looking younger? Well, if you want those, they are in my blog, and you might like to read that. But this is not actually going to be about that entirely. It's really more to do with the fact that we do get served up articles called How to Look 10 Years Younger, as if that is the thing that we should all be preoccupied with, especially if we're as old as I am. Now, why? Why did the 46-year-old Anna Murphy, whose article that I picked up on, write that title, How to Look 10 Years Younger, in a fashion piece that she did for the Saturday Times a couple of weeks ago? Well, I suspect it was quite lazy journalism. Maybe she didn't have very much that was interesting to write about. She had quite a few photographs of herself wearing various clothes that she'd featured over the last few weeks. And I bet you she thought to herself, okay, pretty difficult to get a photographer out at the moment to take new pictures of me. I know what I'll do. I'll put all these pictures together and I'll write an article called How to Look 10 Years Younger, and everybody will love it, because they always love articles about things like that. Now, isn't it strange that a 46-year-old should be preoccupied with ensuring that she looks younger? What is that all about? That's the same age as my daughter, who will be 46 at the end of this year. And what is brilliant for Anna is that because she works with me and because she sees, talks to and knows about older women, she has lost her fear of aging. She says to me so many times, I'm so glad, Mum, that I work with you and that I'm aware of all these amazing, fabulous, fantastic older women, because it gives me something to look forward to rather than dread. And isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day? Why should we have the fear of God put into us continually about this dreadful thing of getting older, so much so that we are desperate to do everything that we can to look as young as possible? Now, I want to read something out to you, which is really the essence of what I'd like to discuss during this video, because I think it's incredibly important for all of us. It's from this book, Fashion and Age. It's a brilliant book. It's really an academic textbook written by Julia Twigg, who's a university lecturer. I've actually met Julia Twigg, who is a very charming woman. We were both speaking together on the same platform about fashion and age at a longevity conference that I attended at the back end of last year. And, she is a true academic. So she's written this very much from the point of view of understanding what is going on when it comes to ageism, and particularly in relationship to fashion, makeup, dress, self-presentation, call it what you will. So let me read this out to you. Age differs from other social divisions in that, in time, individuals will move across its category boundary. In other words, we all get older. The young will eventually become old. And those who practice ageism, unlike sexism or racism, will someday be its victim. Ironically, this does not produce a positive response based on solidarity. What separates ageism from sexism and racism is the element of self-hatred. The person stereotyped is the person they will become. As a result, age has not, by and large, become the basis of identity politics as other forms of differences have. Older people, particularly those who are healthy and have high social capital, resist appeal to age status. Their aspiration is to stay young and to hold on to their status within mainstream culture. By the time they have unequivocally moved into the category of the old, their capacity to challenge oppression and mobilise opposition has been undermined by frailty. So basically, what Julia Twigg is saying there is that there are movements against racism. We've got currently a very powerful movement against racism in Black Lives Matter. There will always be moves against sexism, so challenging ways in which women are considered to be less able or less important or less valuable than men. But when it comes to ageism, the very people who will become older, that's you and me, my daughter, every single person on the planet will become older and will move into that age category. They resist it because they feel that it's something that they do not want to identify with. And that's what the notion of self-hatred is. So there is this desperate attempt to stay as young as possible for as long as possible, not identify with being older. And that's why you get articles like how to look 10 years younger. Everybody accepts that that's normal. And of course, it feeds into this notion that there is something terribly wrong with you if you're not doing everything in your power to stay and look and be as young as you possibly can. So what can we do about it? Because I feel that I have, in the time certainly that I've been running Look Fabulous Forever, done as much as I possibly can, and I'm still doing as much as I possibly can, to be a voice to oppose ageism, to acknowledge the way that the old can be subject to a certain degree of suppression, before I am, in fact, in Julia Twigg's words, undermined by frailty. So I want to talk to you about how I'm doing it and why I think it is incredibly important. I listened to something on Woman's Hour a couple of weeks ago, and it was an important discussion about the furore that has kicked off against Johnson & Johnson, a company that produces cream for the Asian and the black market to help to make your skin look lighter. And they have basically been challenged about this and said, hang on a minute, this has got to be wrong. You know, this gives all the wrong messages, which is dark skin bad, light skin good, and obviously all the advertising that goes along with that to create the impression that, dark bad, light good. But during this discussion on Women's Hour, I kept thinking, if you substituted the word age for skin colour, then you would have a discussion which says, yes, but the beauty industry for years and years and years and years and years has said, young skin good, old skin bad. This cream will help you to make sure that your skin never looks older. And nobody is raising a voice against that, or very rarely is anything questioned about the fact that these creams exist to make you feel bad about being older. So I think we live in a world of amazing double standards. Yes, of course, there are movements, important movements that I support 100% against racism and against sexism. But where is the same movement against ageism? And I would suggest to you that it really doesn't exist. So much so that there are women that I read from time to time who say, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, what is this thing that you're talking about, ageism? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. It's not something that I have to worry about. And I would suggest that's because we just don't have anything in our society that questions it to the extent that I feel it needs to be questioned. Because ultimately, it is very undermining to live in a society that tells you that the thing that you are becoming is wrong, bad, and you should do everything in your power to fight against it. How am I doing that? Well, let's start off with Look Fabulous Forever and what I am trying to do with Look Fabulous Forever, to be a voice against ageism. Now, you might say, well, hang on a minute, aren't you trying to have your cake and eat it? Here you are, you're the founder of a makeup company. You're the founder of a company that does sell skincare. What are you talking about? You are part of the beauty industry. You are, as like I said, you're part of the problem, if you like. How can you also claim that you're part of the solution? Well, I'm going to tell you how I see it, and what I feel is important about what we're trying to do with Look Fabulous Forever. So the first thing is that I made a very big statement at the beginning of launching Look Fabulous Forever that we would never use any form of anti-aging rhetoric in anything that we did. So we would never use the language of you must do everything in your power to look as young as possible. And we never have. We turned it on its head and we called it a pro-age beauty brand. Now, of course, the two are not exactly the opposite of each other. Anti-aging incorporates the notion that what you do is to go against any form of thing that makes you look older, whereas pro-age is not that we are helping ourselves to look older, but we are doing so by celebrating age and thinking of age as a good thing rather than a bad thing. The second thing that we've done at Look Fabulous Forever is to challenge the idea that's promulgated by many, many beauty editors that when you're older, you should tone it down. Less is more. In other words, there is a very strong message within the beauty industry that with age comes a certain ideal that's to do with less makeup. Otherwise, you'll look like an old slapper. Not sure about red lipstick, not too sure about whether you should really be doing that much eye makeup. Do you really want to be adding colour to your face, wearing colourful clothes, all of that kind of thing? There is a very, very big message out there and it's encapsulated in that term, less is more, that as we get older, makeup becomes something a bit dangerous, something that we should only really engage with in a minimal way. And certainly if you go to a beauty counter, you will not get the same level of treatment or interest in your needs and concerns as you would do if you were younger. If I go to a beauty counter with my daughter, they'll talk to her. They'll assume that I'm there in support of her quest for beauty. I'm not there in a quest for my own beauty needs, because after all, I'm old, so therefore why would I want to engage with that? So we are fed these notions and given this idea largely through the images that are used within the beauty industry to tell us that youth is good, old age is bad. So anti-aging creams shown on somebody like 28-year-old Cara Delevingne I think it was for Christian Dior. The whole idea is that you use really young, really fresh faces and you show your makeup, you show your skincare on those faces in order to give the message that this is what you've got to look like, this is the ideal, this is what you must always aspire to. So within Look Fabulous Forever, my message, the language we use, the images that we use, always of appropriate older women. We were called out, I think it was about 10 days ago, with somebody on Super Troopers who said, I've just had an email from Look Fabulous Forever and they've got a woman in that promoting their makeup and it looks to me like she's in her mid-30s. I thought that this, really calling us to task for it. In fact, the person that we'd used is 59. Her name's Deborah. She lives in Manchester, I think, and she was one of the finalists for our Face of Look Fabulous Forever a couple of years ago, and she looks absolutely amazing, really, really amazing. And as a result, we featured her, and of course, everybody thinks that she's way younger than she actually is. But we didn't choose her because she looks younger. We chose her because she looks fabulous. What else do I do in order to counteract this notion that aging bad, staying younger good. I do it by my blogs. So every week I write stuff, and what I'm trying to do in there as a 72-year-old woman is reflect back to you my notion of what it feels like to be living and aging in this society. And so many times I get comments which say, oh my goodness, you've taken the words out of my mouth. You have written what I've been thinking and feeling for a very long time. And I love that, because I feel that I'm not alone and it's not just me. I think I'm doing my best to call out ageism whenever I see it, to draw attention to various things that need to be highlighted, and I'm giving a voice in that to all of you by representing what you think and feel. The third thing is to do with Super Troopers. Now, what has been absolutely brilliant about Super Troopers, which has only been going for 3 months, is that we have gathered together over 4,000 women now, all in one place. And I think the biggest benefit of that has been that for the first time, for a lot of you, you have started to see many hundreds of images of older women who look amazing. Now, this is rare. This doesn't happen in our society. We do not have very many positive images of older women around us to look at. They're not on the television, they're not in films, they're not in advertisements, they're not in magazines, even magazines aimed at older women like you and I. So suddenly you're in this group that you've discovered, and you've found all these friends, these people, this vast resource almost of inspiration, delight, and affirmation that being older, doesn't have to be something negative, something dreadful. I really do feel that has been the power of Super Troopers, and the competitions that we've run when we've encouraged you to, show us your clothes, show us yourself with a balmy headscarf on, or a delightful hat, or any and everything, your makeup, your lipstick, your earrings, the things that you're getting excited about. By just continually, and you go onto Super Troopers page and you scroll down, you just keep seeing image after image after image of amazing, vibrant, healthy, interesting, amazing, as I keep saying, older women, that really is helpful, because it gets away from this terrible stereotype that we have, that there's something, as I say, old bad, young good. We're redressing that balance by putting lots of lovely positive images out there. The other thing is that we're doing this without self-hatred. What Julia Twigg says here is that getting older incorporates this notion that we have to start hating ourselves for one reason or another because we haven't tried hard enough. We're not putting enough cream on to get rid of the wrinkles, or enough hair dye on to get rid of the grey hair, or we're not fashionable enough because we're not buying the latest, the latest designer look, and so on and so forth. I think the Super Troopers, the benefit of that has been that we've got rid of the self-hatred. We have comments that are positive. We have comments that are supportive. We have comments that are designed to be uplifting and to build confidence, not to tear down and to criticise and to draw attention to, the wrinkles or whatever. So this celebration and support that we've been able to engender through Super Troopers, I think has been extremely powerful. So I've always loved makeup. I still love clothes. I'm very happy being 72. I feel that I can, and while I've got breath in my body, I can speak up on all of our behalves to say, just stop it, will you? Just stop this constant pressure on us to look younger, how to look 10 years younger. We're perfectly happy looking the way we do, and we are not going to accept your messages that there is something wrong with us if we're not engaged in that continual fight against aging that we're all supposed to be engaged in. Maybe we should have a grey pride march. Maybe we should have a movement called Old Lives Matter. Maybe we should have everybody should write to the beauty industry and say, how dare you sell anti-aging cream? Well, maybe that's sometime in the future, but in the meantime, we can all do our bit to be really, as I said, to stop the self-hatred and to be really proud of who we are. So I'm doing my best, and I'm delighted to have your company. I'm going to finish with a poem that was written specially for Super Troopers, and actually for me in a way, but it's encapsulates a lot of what I've just been talking about. So it's by Marlene Woolgar. So I just want to thank Marlene for this because it's brilliant. I'd lost some weight but was still quite lumpy, feeling old and feeling frumpy, feeling ancient down in the mouth, which, like my boobs, was heading south. My makeup, well, I do suppose, had been designed for the English rose with perfect skin and cheeky dimples, no age spots, no lines, no wrinkles. I cursed them all under my breath till I discovered LFF. Oh, Tricia Cusden, what a star, my lifesaver, you really are. My skin is glowing, eyes are bright, my lipstick makes my teeth look white. Your tips for me are such a gift. Highlighter gives my face a lift. Foundation goes on like a dream, or as does the blusher. I use peach cream. I no longer have makeup bloopers. I'm thrilled to be one of the troopers. I so enjoy tea at the Ritz. I'm whole where once I was in bits. My confidence in me has grown. Can you believe I've even shown my naked face without the fear that some would laugh and some would jeer? I feel so reckless, wild and free. All those wrinkles belong to me. I don't use fillers, please don't mind me, but if I went missing, how would you find me if my photos were of one serene, looking like a beauty queen? When in truth, the reality is actually I look like me. With LFF on my bathroom shelf, I'm a better version of myself. Oh, trooper friends, how lucky we are. Tricia Cusden, you're a star. So thank you, Marlene. I'm glad you appreciate everything that I have been trying to do, and we at Look Fabulous Forever have been trying to do. So thank you for watching, and I very much look forward to seeing you on Friday. Bye-bye.